Never let anybody see you sweat.
So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Jamie Phillips claims he gave his grandmother money to pay for her root canal, but she used some of it on a bathroom upgrade. Mimi Davenport says the cash was a gift, so she bought a jacuzzi tub to relieve her back pain.
Mr. Phillips, you are suing your grandmother, Ms. Davenport, for $3,000 because she used money you gave her for dental work for reasons other than dental work. Okay. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so I never had a grandmother growing up, and on my father's side, she died when I was really young. And on my mother's side, unfortunately, there was a lot of things that were going on ever since I was young. I never knew my grandmother because she was estranged. Everyone in my family didn't have anything to do with her.
Did they ever tell you why?
They did not.
Okay.
And I had actually asked, when I was younger, as I was growing up, getting older, I was asking, hey, where's Grandma? They were always just...
Had you ever met her, or you hadn't even met her?
No, I had not, Your Honor. But I did ask about her. I wanted a grandmother. I was growing up. My friends had grandmothers.
And they said, she's alive, but we don't talk to her, but they didn't tell you why?
No, they would. Every time I would pry, they'd always they would never actually give me a reason. They would just say, don't worry about it. We don't talk to her. She's not a good person. So I just kind of let it go. And so I just would grow up without a grandmother. Okay. But now that I'm married, I have a son of my own. I see the way he interacts with my mother, which is his grandmother, and it just really made me realize I wanted a grandmother. And so I talked over with my wife. I decided, hey, let's reach out to my grandmother, the only one I have, and let's see if we can just start to have a relationship.
Okay.
Because I think I'm old enough. So I talked to my mom, and my mom still was, you shouldn't have anything to do with her, but if you want to talk to her and get in touch with her, go for it. So I did, and that first conversation, that phone conversation, it was just great. She was nice and caring, everything you would want a grandmother to be, she was. And I was just so happy. I got off the phone, told my wife about it. She was happy about it. And so we decided that we were going to meet each other. We went to a restaurant, everything went great. Brought my son, everything was great. We were a family. She would come over, she would cook nice home-cooked meals. She'd watch my son. They had a great relationship. We had a great relationship, and everything was going great.
Until you didn't. How long was the relationship that you had good?
So about 6 months was going on. 6 months later, I asked her how she was doing, and she said that she had been having problems with her teeth.
Okay.
And so I said, have you been to a dentist? And she informed me that yes, she'd already been to one. And the dentist said she's going to need 3 root canals. Now, I've had a root canal already. There's a gold crown to prove it. It's very painful. I can't even imagine what having 3 is like, especially at her age. But we both decided that, you know what, my grandmother, she doesn't have anyone else around. She's estranged.
She's in pain.
She said she was just going to...
So dental insurance wouldn't cover it?
She said it would cover 1 tooth.
Well, how can it cover 1 tooth? She's got more than 1 tooth.
I can only go by what they said, only 1 tooth. Insurance companies...
Did you ever call the insurance company?
No, I did not.
Okay, so according to her, they would cover what?
The insurance, Your Honor, would pay for half of it.
Okay, so each root canal then would cost you out of pocket $1,000? Okay, and there were supposed to be 3, so you gave her $3,000, correct?
I had given her $3,000 because that's what she needed for 3 root canals.
Okay, and then what happens?
So I called her 2 weeks later. She said, I said, how you doing? She said she was doing a lot better. So I brought my son over to have a visit with her. And I went to the bathroom, and I noticed that that bathroom was looking a lot better. There was a nice big jacuzzi, brand new tiling in there. So right away, I went and said, hey, what's the deal with your brand new bathroom? and she informed me that she actually only needed to get 2 root canals turned out. And that the last one, she said she just used that leftover money. She saw this great sale in a jacuzzi. She decided, hey, I'm going to remodel my bathroom.
Rather than giving you the $1,000 back.
Believe me, we needed that money. That money was not something, that $1,000 is something we really could have used. So yes, so I got in an argument and I was like, why did you not just give me the $1,000? She's like, well, it's a gift. I shouldn't have to use it. I can use the money however I want to. And I said, no, that money should have gone to me. I took my son, we went home. I told my wife what happened. Then I called my mother.
And then your mother told you?
My mother told me that, oh, okay, you know what, she's like, I might as well just tell you now. Back then, when her father, my mom's father died, he left her $15,000. And that my grandmother took 10,000 of it and only gave my mother 5,000 instead of the full 15,000. And that was one of the main reasons that they just made her estranged. So she's pulled this before, and now it's happening again to me and my family. So that's why I feel I have to sue her now.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
It was a gift to pay for the root canals, not to go to Vegas or do anything else.
He gave it to me as a gift for my pain.
And later,
Bridget lets us know that our flight has been canceled, not even 24 hours before the trip.
Because of weather?
Because of weather.
Well, was there a weather problem?
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with a dispute between Jamie Phillips and his grandmother, Mimi Davenport, over misused money.
Ms. Davenport, what's going on?
The dentist told me, Judge, that I had 3 root canals that needed to be done. When I went back to get it done, he took more x-rays, and he then said that you only need the 2 up here. He said, you're going to be okay on the one on the bottom. So I only had 2 instead of the 3. Now, I never asked my grandson for money. He
But you know he gave you money for the root canal.
as a gift. He gave me for pain.
I'm sorry, but for the root canals. It was a gift to
For
pay for the root canals, not to go to Vegas or do anything else.
He gave it to me as a gift for my pain. So when that happened and I had extra money,
Well, you
Judge,
didn't have
look at
extra
me, I'm
money.
old. I have a lot of
He
pain.
had money. He gave you too much money. Instead of you giving him the money you didn't need, you used it for something else that he didn't give it to you for, right?
because I have pain, just not pain from the neck up. I have really bad back pain. And when I
Well,
saw...
who doesn't want a jacuzzi? I understand how much good a jacuzzi does. What I'm saying is, don't you think it might have been a little more honest to tell him, hey, I only needed 2, but it turns out there's a really good deal on a jacuzzi and my back is in pain. Do you mind if I use that money? Why would you just kind of renovate your bathroom without giving him the giving him the chance to say, yeah, I'll give you money for your bathroom. In other words, he didn't give you money. You know he didn't give you money for a jacuzzi. You know that he only gave it to you because your teeth hurt and he thought you needed 3. So why wouldn't you return the rest of that money?
Because Your Honor, I understand what you're saying, but I didn't look at it that way. I just looked at it as that I'm watching my grandson like 3 times a week. I'm making dinners. I'm doing everything I can because now
So you
I'm
want to get
part
paid?
Yeah, well, no, that's okay. I am finally part of the family that I
So maybe you
wanted.
really should have looked at it the way I'm saying, because it cost you that part of the family. You know that she did have 2 root canals, right?
Yes.
But you're suing for the entire amount because now you're angry.
Believe me, when I walked in and saw that bathroom, the reason I am suing is because of that, yes. If she had asked me about it or, taken it in a different direction, maybe, we wouldn't be here today. But I got so angry. And then especially going home and telling my mom and figuring out she's done this before about this $15,000.
Did you want to address
No.
that? Do you want to address that? Because he keeps saying that and I haven't given you a chance to address
No, it's
it.
not true.
What happened with that money?
When your grandfather died, he had $15,000 in his savings, and he said to me on his deathbed, he said, you take $10,000 of it and you give $5,000 to our daughter.
Okay,
That's
usually
what he said.
these things are not up for grabs. You either die with a will or you don't die with a will.
He didn't have a will.
Right, she's entitled to take the whole thing. It doesn't matter that he talked and told your mother.
I can only go by what
your
my
mother
family
can
tells
make
me.
whatever decisions she wants, but legally speaking, I just want you to know how it unfolds. If he died without a will, his spouse gets everything. In any event, you know,
there's
whatever
more-
it is, your mother felt it was one thing and wrote off her mother over it. So
There's other things
There
on-
has
yeah,
to be
there were.
a severe amount of baggage.
Yeah.
There has to be a ton of other things. And I'm kind of disappointed in your mom that she didn't just say, because you say you asked her permission, do you mind if I reach out to her? She said, what your mother should have said is, I don't mind, but I want you to understand why the rift happened, so that you would be alert to a money issue.
Your
In any
Honor,
event.
Back at it, yes.
Your Honor, I don't want to lose the family. I've waited 35 years to have a family again. I'll make dinner every night. I'll clean your house. I'm sorry. I didn't make the right
Davenport?
judgment. Don't disown me, please.
Miss Davenport, I need you to listen to me.
Okay.
You can try to mend fences once you leave the courtroom, and maybe the fence can be mended, and maybe it can't. It's something for you to think about. And maybe you shouldn't be involving money in your relationship with him.
No.
And maybe you should have thought it through.
Yeah, I should have.
And said to him, here's your $1,000, but can I please ask you for help? This is what's happened. You should never have just renovated your bathroom with his money when the money
know,
was
Your
intended for
Honor.
a root canal.
Am I a felon now?
Are you what?
Am I a felon?
No. No,
Okay.
you're not a felon. But you do have to return 1,000 of the 3,000 because you had no right to use that. She doesn't have to return the other 2 because those were used exactly for the purpose. Your only right when you come to court is to correct the wrong, not to change what you did. You can't turn around and say, I never offered her money for root canals. You can't turn around and say, I wish I hadn't, because it turns out that she overreached. What you have a right to is any money that she didn't use for the intended purpose, and that's just 1,000 of it. Verdict for the
Okay.
plaintiff, $1,000.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,000.
Well, I mean, I really would like to try to mend a relationship. I'm just hoping that in the future that, you know, to not really involve money and to pay back like the judge said you should
You
have.
would. Oh, thank you.
Coming up,
So you never have anybody sign it until they arrive?
Correct. I let him know that because of the friends and family discount, a refund is not an option.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Lucas Garrison claims his family dreamed of going on a hot air balloon ride, but the owner's last-minute cancellation ruined their vacation. Bridget Chase says rain in the forecast made it unsafe to fly.
Okay, Mr. Garrison, you are suing Ms. Chase for $924 because, according to you, she ruined your vacation by canceling your hot air balloon ride for weather. All right, talk to me and tell me what happened. How did you two even know each other?
So I met Bridget Chase at our mutual friend Jessica's 35th birthday. We really hit it off at this party, and we got to talk. And her, my wife, and Simone, we really got to know each other. I really liked Bridget, and we were talking about going to Temecula. That's where Bridget lives, and we were talking about going to a wine tasting, and she let us know that she runs a hot air balloon company.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing it for about 8 years now.
What got you into that?
Honestly, I went on a hot air balloon myself and fell in love.
They scare me.
They're quite safe. We go into extensive precautions the night before and the morning of.
All right, so you set up the trip, and so who were going to be the other people?
It was me, my wife, and my 2 daughters.
So you guys plan your trip, you get a hotel,
Yes.
and what happens?
So I got my hotel. We're driving up to Temecula. On the way up there, Bridget lets us know that our flight has been canceled, not even 24 hours before the trip.
Because of weather?
Because of weather.
Well, was there a weather problem?
She said there was rain in the forecast.
Coming up,
I
Okay,
typically,
you said that to him before canceling or after canceling?
before.
Is that true?
That is not true at all,
Okay.
Your Honor.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Lucas Garrison, who blames Bridget Chase for ruining his family's vacation.
Can I ask you something? Did you have a written agreement with him?
No, that waiver isn't
Okay, can
particularly
I ask
signed.
you probably have a business contract that a lawyer maybe advised you on how to do that says if we have to cancel by virtue of weather, then your rights are not a refund, but an opportunity to reschedule at a later time, don't you?
Yes, but actually the right.
But you didn't have him sign that.
No, because he needed to sign it upon arrival. There's also liability paperwork, like I said earlier.
So you never have
after the
anybody
safety.
sign it until they arrive?
Correct. I let him know that because of the friends and family discount, a refund is not an option. I typically
Okay, you said that to him before canceling or after canceling?
before.
Is that true?
That is not true at all,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So he's saying you never told him about that, and you're waiting. In every case, according to you, you wait for them to show up, but that's not a smart business practice because you're going to need to show that before you took the money, which you apparently take beforehand, they knew the conditions. So how would anybody know the conditions if there's no refunds?
It's pretty standard to have a non-refundable deposit to cover the expense of preparing the balloon and paying the pilot for his time before we take off.
When you first approached her, I guess it was through text, and asked for a refund, you weren't expecting a refund of the hotel, were you?
I wanted a refund for my deposit.
Just the $276.
Yes.
Okay. And then she said, no, I have a no refund policy, but you can reschedule.
Yes.
And you didn't like that.
Well, we didn't have the vacation that we had in mind that we had planned for weeks.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns.
What would you like the owner of a hot air balloon company to do? Ignore the weather and risk the lives of your children?
No, not at all.
You just want her to refund the money that you paid her because you don't want to have to come back.
Exactly. I wanted her to be professional and not
Ms.
stonewall.
Chase, I'm going to order you to refund the $276 unless you can prove to me that he knew you had that policy. Do you have any proof that you told him the policy beforehand?
Not on me at this time, Your Honor. I do
All
not.
right, $276 verdict for the plaintiff. Certainly not your hotel and your vacation. That's not going to happen.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $276.
I'm happy I got my money back. Should have gotten more.
I don't mind paying back the deposit. It's a smaller loss. I am glad I didn't have to pay you $660 more.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.